Robert ShedLog for Sunday the 16th of August 2020. Hello, I'm Robert and welcome to my shed. When you're watching this, it'll be the 23rd of August 2020, but I'm queuing them up, so I don't have to worry too much about falling behind again. So, I have a dining room full of timber, full of ash, which is the currently cheapest hardwood available. I wanted a hardwood desk because it meant I could make the whole desk out of one piece of wood, one type of wood, and not worry about drawings. Drawings really need to be hardwood, so it's going to be used a fairly large amount. So, I've just recorded this entire lecture once, and now I'm going to do it again, this time with a microphone on so you can hear what I'm saying. So, the desk has a desktop. It has a couple of pedestals, and sometimes you have an additional drawer up here, which I'm not going to bother with, at least not initially. That's a simple version. So the desktop is going to be beech, from the same piece as was cut from my workbench top. So that's easy enough. There's a slight difficulty in that there is a windowsill in the way, and the windowsill is too low. It was built too low by the original builder who didn't read the spec properly. So the windowsill, I need to cut out in the back of the desk bench, which I've already got for the windowsill. That should be relatively simple. That means it gives me space to put cable runs and things. Although I'm actually going to cheat a bit and move the desktop, because I've already got it made. I'm going to move the desktop forward slightly, so there's going to be a slight gap at the back, and I can use that for cables as well. So it should be good for cables. Now, I've got more space on the right than I have on the left, because it's just a room. This is the layout of the room, really. I'm going to sit by the window, which means I've got more space on the right than the left. So the left pedestal first. This is a box. Except that, just on the left side, where the back of the box will be touching the wall, there is a plug socket. So I'm going to take a little cut out at the back there for the plug socket, and that means that this section here is all going to be for cable runs, nothing else. I've basically divided both desks up, so there's a big drawer at the bottom and then a few small drawers further up. And in this case, because I've lost this back space, I'm going to, another one. Because I've lost this back space, I'm going to put the drawers so that in plan view there's going to be A4, another A4, and divider between them. That'll get me storage for two lots of A4 in each drawer. And currently I've got a dozen or so box files sitting in my bedroom. There's various paperwork in. It's a terrible filing system. Never use it properly, so I reckon if I have proper drawers, it's going to make filing paperwork a lot easier. And then at the top, I'm going to have a cutaway here that I'm going to use to tow in my speaker for my computer. I've got a full 5.1 surround system with that's a speaker in there. And this bit will be a cupboard hinged at the top. Is hinge at the top or hinge at the bottom? I guess I can do it either way. There'll be a cupboard that I can open up, and then on that cupboard there'll be a USB charging port, and a couple of bits and pieces. So this top section, there'll be cables going down here, roughly. Let me just get everything tidied up. And so there's going to be a piece of wood, a piece of 6mm solid ash veneer, separating this piece from the rest of that cupboard. And I think that should work really, really well. Quite happy with that one. So the sides and the back are all going to be solid, and that's going to be made as tongue and groove. Which is good because it gives it room to expand and contract and doesn't have to worry too much about wood movement. Drawers, very standard, except that to make it the same as the right pedestal, the drawers are going to be wider than the frame. So that is, the front of the drawer is going to abut the front of the frame. This means it's going to be an interesting build because these are non-standard drawer boxes. Normally, if you're going to do that, you build a standard drawer box and then you just screw a bigger frame onto the front. I'm not using screws. I'm just going to make I'm going to try and do it with hidden dovetails and try and make the whole thing slot on. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, that just gives me a little bit of extra space on the neck side, because 2 pieces of A4 like that is quite sensible for this, but I figured a way of getting a lot more space, usable space out of the other drawers. So let's look at that. So, the right hand pedestal. I'm going to do a plan view, and I'm going to do a front view, rather than trying to do the usual isometric kind of drawings I usually go for. Right, so the problems with this. Just here, there's a consumer unit. I can't prevent access to that. Let's put it a bit further back, actually. Also various sockets and network sockets and so on the back there. So my plan is to turn this, to put a solid wall here, and turn this into a cupboard. So that's going to be reflected on here. There's going to be a cupboard here, so access to the consumer unit and whatever else is in here. Now here we have, this line is taken across. That will match up with the second drawer on the left pedestal, and the bottom drawer line here. And I'm going to do another 2 drawers in here. I'm going to double those up, so there's going to be 10 drawers on this pedestal, and 2 cupboards, and a toe in for the section for the speaker. Now, these drawers will hold a piece of A4. Okay, not these ones, but these 4 all hold a piece of A4 lengthwise, a 2mm plywood divider, another piece of A4 lengthwise. Now that makes the depth just a little bit deeper than the desktop, so I'm going to be cheating a little bit. The plan is to put that's why I'm putting the front of the drawers to be slightly proud. There's nothing wrong with having doors proud of the desk. It's actually considered an aesthetic feature in many desks. I'm also going to move the bench top forward a little bit, just to get that to work better. Also, on the left pedestal, remember the top cupboard? You'll be able the bits of the backwards I cut away for the thing. The top cupboard of that you can get to by pulling the desk forward. So my plan, I don't know if this is practical or not, but this wall and this wall are both solid. So I'm going to extend the walls up just half an inch or so into the bench top and cut with a hammer and chisel, just cut some grooves into the desktop so that the whole bench can slide forward. That's the plan. It might not work. I'll probably do 2 grooves. I won't do the whole thing. I'll do 2 grooves front and middle so that you can slide an amount. Okay, this one, it's cupboard as before, although there's going to be a shelf halfway up, and that shelf is going to go right the way through the solid wall into here. Now, that's not the full depth of the cupboard, but it's enough to create a cable run area. So I can run cables. There's going to be a hole here, so I can get cables into the speakers. There's going to be a hole here. So cables into this cupboard. There's a hole here, so I can get cables from the router and the networking sockets here into the cable run. And there's also going to be a hole at the front by virtue of the fact that this is not solid. This is a piece of carcassing. It's not a solid wall because I have to keep access to the sides. And that's going to let me get another set of sockets out to run over the door frame and onto the wall to make wall-mounted speakers for the rear audio. It's all a bit fiddly. That's the plan. I have a problem in that just here, there's a power socket, which means this drawer won't be able to go back as far as the others. So it's going to be a single A4 or possibly full scap. Not that I use full scap, but nice to have. And the rest will be usable. These I don't have a use for them at the moment, but I'm sure I'll find one. There'll be deep drawers that aren't very wide, but are quite deep and drawers. That feels like a tool drawer to me. Probably networking tools. I certainly won't be with the woodworking tools, which are all here. So that's the plan for my desk. That's really for posterity. There's going to be a lot of work in that, and yes, I'll let you know how I get on. But that's all for this week's ShedLog. So we shall see you next week. Ta-ta! Robert's ShedLog for Sunday, the 16th of August, 2015. Hello, I'm Robert, and welcome to my shed that moves the camera. Wow!